Hello, I'm Aubrey Shepherd. It's 21 February 2013. It's snowing, or maybe it's freezing rain, or maybe it's sleet, or maybe it's thunder snow. We've had a bit of all that this week. Let's see some pictures from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Well, there's some nice folks over at the Senior Center. You may have seen them in the square a lot last summer. They were up there as well as at the Senior Center, and they always have that cute little dog with them. Pretty proud of it. That was St. Valentine's Day at the Fayetteville Senior Center. Hey, there's Randy Parrish and one of his customers there, and just happened to catch them out there and said, hey, let me get your picture. That's the Tanglewood Branch Riparian Zone near Randy's shop and just across the stream from the apartment complex at the sale barn. And you can see some buried silt fence from some previous work there. And here's some guys putting high quality video, whatever, line underground at South School Avenue in front of Randy's place. That fire truck had just come over to my house, my neighborhood, to fill up itself with water and get a big drink because they had put out a little fire. You see a dark place on the ground up there. That was in the riparian zone of Cato Springs branch, or in the west arm of the town branch, at least, by Great House Park. Those are, of course, frost flowers, the ice that forms around the stem of Verbicina virginica and other wing stem plants. And we love those. It's amazing. They're still going on this week in South Fayetteville, Arkansas. They're still happening. That was on the weekend at St. James Methodist Church in South Fayetteville, and they were having a soul food dinner. And I love those old historic buildings like that, and I love those smaller churches where the people are quite serious about their music and about their food. In the background, you see one of Fayetteville's leaders in South Fayetteville, Jessie Bryant. She's been on the Quorum Court over the years and has been a leader in many ways. And she was the center of attraction to a lot of people there because she's well known and has a lot of good opinions to share. Well, that's part of the menu. You could get neck bones and things as well as chicken and fish and whatnot. Also, that day they had a sign up promoting this great day of singing, which is not going to be there, but in Central United Methodist Church Sanctuary on the 10th of March, Sunday, March 10th. Great day of singing. I bet you'll enjoy it. Sons of the Prophet, that's a show coming up. Well, it's running now through March 3rd at the Walton Arts Center facilities. That's another historic building and it's a private home. I don't know what it was initially in South Fayetteville. And we talk about Tanglewood Branch, we talk about Spout Spring Branch. Well, that's where the springs are that start the Spout Spring Branch. Spout Spring is probably on that property there. I guess those folks will let you look around. They'll let you take pictures from the street anyway, so I do that sometimes when I go by there. But this is the town branch, and it's been muddy for days and days and days. That's at 11th Street, and last year I showed you the rock piles and things they filled that with, and most of that stuff's all washed in there, just more. And this is looking upstream. That's a guy named Ben. He was down there on Dixon Street, and the sun was shining, and he stopped and visited with me a couple of minutes, and so I just made a few pictures of him. They're not as great as I could have. It's not a great portrait setting, but anyhow, he was willing to do it, and these folks down at the Senior Center were willing to do it. That man is past 90 years of age, and he has some great stories. He lived through the Dust Bowl and things like that, and has a lot to share with people, especially about climate problems. Until next time, this is Aubrey Shepherd asking you to do your part to help keep the water clean, the air pure, and the woods green. See you. Well, put on an outdoor hat because these pictures are outdoor photos from this bad weather period with diverse creatures in there. Let's see what we got. On the 21st of February 2012. Well, that's our old friend. It's almost the end of February, and Lonicera sempervirens, the native honeysuckle. Some people call it trumpet honeysuckle. It's a native, it's non-invasive. In fact, you just gotta find some and transplant them because you can't get enough seeds from them to get them to spread. But they will slowly spread from roots and little spouts, whatever, little stems that come up with them. But I was lucky enough to catch some with snow on them, and those were made, the 20th of February 2013. As I've said, these plants have been blooming all year long through the past year, and we're starting the second year. Maybe somehow we'll see a flower from these every month this year. But it was special to have the snow on them, which makes the point that explains why Lonicera sempervirens is called the winter honeysuckle by people in the deep south. But you don't expect it to bloom here the way it's doing. So it seems like we got great cold weather this week, but it has not been below zero. So I've been able to photograph some of these flowers regularly. And they are beautiful. They're the ones to preserve. Don't get them mixed up with things you read about honeysuckle removal. This is the one you want to encourage. This is one of the honeysuckle varieties that is native, non-invasive. It does not take over. It does not bind and kill trees as Japanese honeysuckle does, the climbing vine, or the China honeysuckle bushes, or shrubs, or whatever you want to call them, small trees that are rampant here and do take over. They replace the native plants. They're grow so easily. So we got a lot of different views of these guys. Now, this is another vine that I treasure, and you see in the winter, it's not going to be blooming, not in my lifetime in Fayetteville, Arkansas, I suspect, but only in the warmer months. That's the root of it. You can see, actually, as soon as you collect the seed pods that you saw hanging up there, then the plant's usefulness for the year, when they dry up like this, is nil. They're going to come back from their roots. So you can cut those off your fence if you don't want them there. People like me think just leave them there. They're part of it. But anyway, that's a yard that I love to see in South Fayetteville. We just saw it's got a huge hackberry tree, and the people have a lot of native plants in the yard. Holly. The berry of holly is allegedly important for birds. And if you get rid of those China honeysuckle and privet bushes and put in a lot more holly, especially native species of holly, then you're going to see some birds. And here we finally get to some birds. This is a male cardinal. You can see he's wet and cold and the wind's blowing his feathers. But you know what? The birds hide when they see this guy. This is a big old hawk. I think it's a red-shouldered hawk. It's on a power line almost over where these birds are feeding. That's the female cardinal. There's a male just had flown down and grabbed. You can see a seed in his mouth. He's going to eat one or two and fly off. And they're just taking turns, back and forth, back and forth. And you can see that it must be the certified wildlife habitat sign that the birds come, like this one's reading it appears, trying to understand just what this means. Are we guaranteed food here every day? Well, that's right, they are. Not just when somebody's putting out birdseed, but year-round when you have native plants in your yard. The sparrows are still, and robins and everything else, it seems like gets on the ground this time of the year. When you have leaf cover, you've got insects in there, And those insects are alive and ready to fatten up the birds. But you got to keep your leaves. You got to keep some cover so the insects can stay there. Till next time, this is Aubrey Shepherd asking you to do your part to help keep the water clean, the air pure, and the woods green. See ya.